Main man, made man here. Y'all know how I get down. We talking boxing, man. So last night we seen a very controversial win in which Tony Harrison defeated Charlo, taking that WBC championship up off him. It seems as if that all three judges unanimously thought that Tony Harrison won. Now, I believe that Charlo should have won. However, the judges seen it a whole different way. So it is what it is. And so now it seems as if that Charlo has lost a lot of luster. I seen him in his post-fight interviews. He was crying. The young, hungry lion didn't seem like a lion at all after the fight. And I can understand he was hurt, so I don't want to rag on him too much. But, you know, it comes with the fight game. It is what it is. And so the new champ and Tony Harrison is basically out saying that he's not basically in a hurry to rematch Charlo. And he states that he wants to take a fight in his hometown now and defend his title and then pivot in a rematch with the real champ, Jarrett Swift Hurd. Now, we all know that the real champ, Jarrett Hurd, has already gave Tony Harrison a beatdown. They fought back in the day for the vacant IBF title, in which Jarrett Hurd got the job done, and he stopped Tony Harrison. I repeat, stopped Tony Harrison. It was beautiful. And so Tony Harrison wants his get back. And I can understand that. I can totally understand that. But however, there is talks. There are some whispers and people are saying that there was possibly a rematch clause in the fight between him and Charlo. Now, I don't know, because it seems as if Tony Harrison is so sure that he can just go and get a fight in his hometown and then turn around in the unification match and take on the real champion, Jarrett Swift Hurd. But we don't know if that's really possible. Because like I said, if this rematch clause exists, then I'm sure Charlo was going to be wanting his shot to get his old title back. I'm sure. I recall right after the fight in which Tony Harrison, when they were asking him in a post-fight interview in the ring, would you give Charlo another shot? And he says, yes, I would be more than happy. He was bigging up Charlo. You're a true champion. I would be more than happy to give you a shot. You gave me a shot. But as he was bigging up Charlo all up in his feelings, all pacing around the ring, all in his feelings, want to snatch the microphone and talk a bunch of crap. And so I don't know how Tony Harrison feeling right about now. You know what I'm saying? But I also recall Charlo stating that in his post-fight press conference, he wants to return back to the ring within 4 months, even alluding to the fact that he possibly wants to fight on the undercard of, his hero, Errol Spence Jr. and Mikey Garcia. Well, I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening at all, because the Charlos are now, they finally get the card that they wanted. They were in front of millions. They were on a huge network in Fox. It was their show, and they walked out of that show not really impressing people much. They walked off that card last night, and a lot of people did not leave impressed. And if anything, it may have even hurt their standing one way or another in the eyes of a lot of boxing fans, even with the performance of Charlo. So fighting on pay-per-view on the undercard of Spence and Mikey Garcia, I don't see that being possible, man. Even if it's a rematch with Tony Harrison, I just don't see it possible. But the fact is that Charlo needs to be if this rematch clause is legit, he needs to be focused on going back after that title. He should, because I thought he should have edged it out last night. If adjustment here and an adjustment there could have maybe made it more convincing, instead of just going in there trying to be stalking and overly relying on your power, totally forgetting your fundamentals, forgetting the things that Ronnie Shields had taught you, and just basically going off this newfound Charlo 2.0, who doesn't look nearly as impressive as the up-and-coming Charlo, in my opinion. So, if that's the route, if that route presents itself, a rematch, of course, that's the way he should go. But if it doesn't, it seems as if that Tony Harrison is stating that once again, he wants to fight in his hometown and then pivot to Jared Swift Hurd. There's quotes out, according to Tony Harrison, and I quote, "It's simple. That's the only thing that I want. I don't want nothing else. Just Hurd. Just Hurd. As a matter of fact, I want to do one fight in Detroit. My next fight is in Detroit. My homecoming is in Detroit. After that, Hurd. I don't care what is that. Where is that? Hurd." End quote. And then he goes on to say, Jared Hurd said he wants another fight. That's perfect for me because I want another fight. I'm going to fight in Detroit one time, and wherever it is, a unification between me and Hurd. That's what I want to do. End quote. Now, could this next fight in Detroit possibly be Jermell Charlo? So, the sad thing is that if a rematch occurs between Tony Harrison and Jermell Charlo, once again, the nickname sticks, Jermell B-side Charlo, because he will not only be the B-side into Tony Harrison, he'll also, of course, be the C-side to Jared Swift Hurd, so we can just call him BC. And, that's just unfortunate because now Jermell Charlo has no negotiating leverage. He is at the whim of Harrison and at the whim of Jared Swift Hurd because one fighter has outdone him and the other one has beaten him. Facts. So it is what it is. But the fact still remains, if Tony Harrison and Charlo fights, Tony Harrison gets to call the shots. He earned the right. He has the title. He has the hardware. He has the WBC green belt, ladies and gentlemen. So he gets to make the calls. Now, Jared Swift Hurd is saying he's down for that. He's saying he's down for that. It makes sense because we know Jared Hurd wants to come back in the spring. They're talking about a possible fight between him and J-Rock, Julian J-Rock Williams. If that goes down, then it is what it is. Then that would once he gets J-Rock out the way, clear the way for a big unification, whom we thought was going to be Jermell Charlo, but now possibly Tony Harrison. According to Jared Hurd, and I quote, "Man, I definitely want Harrison. He got the belt now too, Tony always said he wanted a rematch, man. But he probably going to want to do a couple defenses first before he faces me again." Yeah, of course, end quote. Of course he will. He's going to want to milk that title. You know what I mean? Give his fight fans back home some good, let them see the WBC, give them something to cheer about, which ain't nothing wrong with that. And then he wants to take the challenge of getting in there with the real champ. And I ain't mad at that. Jared Hurd has always had his eyes set on that WBC, whether it was around the waist of Jermell Charlo or whoever. He's already made it crystal clear that that's the belt that he wants to add to his collection of belts and bring it back here to the DMV. I ain't mad at that at all. So it seems as if that the two champions are almost ready to engage once they get a fight or so out the way. And if this rematch clause proves not to hold up, which once again, I'm dying to see if it's really legit, where does this leave Jermell, the Hungry Lion Charlo? Jermell, BC Charlo. Where does this lead him? Where does this leave him? If he's smart, he gives Ronnie Shields a call. He calls Jamal and he says, "Look, I'm coming home. Derek James, you gave me a lot to add to my arsenal, but I got to go back home. I got to get back to the roots. I got to go back to the drawing board where he was a successful fighter. He was outboxing fighters. His power was translating with each and every fight that went past. He was getting more stronger, more coming into his man frame, getting his man strength together. He's still young. He's only 28 years old. He was hitting to that peak. It would have came. The problem with Jermell is he wants to rush everything, and this is what translates in the ring. You want to rush knockouts. You want to rush developing yourself. You should have stood where you were. Ronnie Shields put some good things in Jermell Charlo. He raised you in that ring. This is not a crack at Derrick James, but all trainers are not for all fighters. What works for Errol Spence Jr., that mean necessarily it's going to work for Jermell Charlo. That's all I'm saying. It's not a knock at Derrick James. I think Derrick James is a hell of a trainer. But at the end of the day, if their rematch clause doesn't hold up, I'm going to tell you right now, man, Tony Harrison is going to pivot to Jarrett Hurd. And Jarrett Hurd is going to destroy Tony Harrison the same way he did in the first fight. Tony Harrison was shining and shining all through the early portions of that fight until he got stopped, until he got tired. And he knows it's going to take twice the workload to keep Jarrett Hurd off him as opposed to what Charlo was doing. Charlo was telegraphing a lot of his shots, loading up on too many shots. And as for Jarrett Hurd, it's totally different. He's chippy. He's a chip away fighter. He's chipping away. He'll chip you away. And guess what, Tony Harrison? You might have got stopped in the 9th last time. You may last to the 10th or the 11th. But either way, you're going down, bruh. I got love for Detroit. Main Man Made Man loves Detroit. But at the end of the day, Detroit, y'all going to have to come and see the real champ. The same way I was saying about Jermell B-side, C-side Charlo. It is what it is. Jarrett Hurd is the #1 champion at 154 by a mile. I repeat, by a mile. Everybody needs to respect Jarrett Swift Hurd, the king of 154. And Tony Harrison, you, sir, are no different. You hear me? And that's just how I feel about it. Oh, Main Man Made Man. You're being biased. Oh, you know that Hurd didn't want it with Charlo. Oh, you know that dang well that they milked it out and I don't know nothing. All I know is that they fight for the same outfits. The suits gave them the date. All they had to do was get through their tests that they had before them and they would meet. That's all I know. Y'all want to act like it's Jarrett Hurd that was avoiding. Jarrett Hurd just wanted a hometown fight to show his fans back home all the hardware and all the work that he put in. He can do that because he is the champion, the unified champion. You can make moves like that. But the suits gave them the date. All Charlo had to do was just make it to the date. That's it. So I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear none of that. You hear me? So it is what it is. Tony Harrison, you can bring that belt so my man can add it to his collection and bring it on back home here to the DMV. We'll take that up off you. Easy work. And as we get closer to that fight, I'll break it down. So to the next video, Main Man Made Man. Don't forget to subscribe. Twitter, Made Man 511. Facebook, Main Man Made Man Boxing Forum. Google Plus, Main Man Made Man. I mean, Charlo, man, this is what I've been saying for months. Charlo is overly emotional and he relies too much. He tried to give everybody a big show last night, a big knockout. He tried to show everybody, this is my fight card. This is my moment. So guess what? I'm going to show you what I'm made of instead of going in there, being fundamentally sound, executing a game plan, sticking to the script. And unfortunately, this is what happened. Unfortunately, because I believe that he won. But it is what it is. So to the next video. Don't forget to subscribe. Peace out.